Hi, this is Jay Baker in Seattle, Washington. So, over the years, doing this work has become a lot tougher. And I kind of wanted to talk about how that all started. And I'm not trying to do a humble brag here. It's just trying to, also remind folks that I also carry some of those scars from the church as well. In 2005, I got invited to speak at two different places. One was Open Door Community Church in Sherwood, Arkansas, and the other one was Exodus Ministries. Exodus was this pray away the gay type of thing, and they were going to have all these big speakers. It was going to be the biggest pay I've ever received in my life. I thought it was weird that they were asking me, and I said yes because my dad always told me never to say no to a speaking engagement. And probably the money didn't hurt either. But it caused a lot of my friends to question me, and I understand now. I understand then. I understood then why. Because half of my friends were gay and lesbian. And so a lot of folks were like, why are you doing this? And I thought, well, maybe it'll give me an opportunity to have a tough conversation or say some things that need to be thought about, whatever. But I also was talking to my friend Randy McCrane, who was the pastor of Open Door in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I said, well, I've got invited to this thing, and I'm not sure what to do and what to say, and they've met with me, and I think they're already scared to have me. But for some reason, they want me to be there. And it became really time to decide what I was going to do and what I was going to say about my friends in the LGBT community and my faith. So I got a call from a magazine in North Carolina where the event was going to be held. And it was an LGBTQ magazine. I wish I could remember the name off the top of my head. I'm sure it'll come to me after I'm done with this video. But they called me and we had a long conversation, and they were really curious why I was doing this because my mother was such a loved person in the LGBT community. She was alive at the time. And the man interviewing me said, do you think people can change their sexuality? And I said, no, I don't think so. Great conversation. Article gets printed the next couple days, and I get a very angry phone call from the folks at Exodus telling me that I went to the enemy, I shouldn't have spoken to them, that I fooled them, and I pulled the wool over their eyes, and they came to me. And they even have a conversation. They never once asked me if I thought it was a sin or not, or if someone could change their sexuality. They just asked me to speak and offered me too much money. They canceled me. Now, crazily, because they felt that it was on their part, their fault, eventually. Because at first they accused me of being a liar, and I said, listen, all I have is my honesty on this. And so they ended up paying me anyway and saying they heard what they wanted to hear. And I went to this little church, little purple room, Randy's church, and Randy McCain had been on the phone. We'd been on the phone for hours, almost every other day, talking about this stuff, and I had been going over the scriptures. I don't think that stuff would have bothered me now in my life, but at the time I felt it was important. And because I was raised Assemblies of God and evangelical, I took the Bible very important. But what I found is that I didn't see what we understand as LGBTQ to be in that Bible. And so I made the decision to go to the Open Door Community Church, and Peggy Campola was there. And that was when my conviction hit me that I had to speak out on behalf of my LGBTQ brothers and sisters, not only because it was the right thing for me to do for my own conviction and my own religious beliefs, but also because it was a civil rights issue. And I went back from that church, from Arkansas, really on cloud nine, which, wasn't great when I met with my board of directors. My board got split right down the middle when I said, I'm going to be affirming. And one of my board members, the first thing he said is, I bring in a lot of money for this church, and that's all going to be gone if you do this. I said, that's fine. I said, if you guys want to vote me out, which they had the power to do, I said, you can, but I'm still doing Sunday, and I'm still making this announcement. And I can't really get into the details because this is such a short video, but we made the decision, and that board member resigned from the board. And another board member said, I'm going to agree to disagree, but I'm going to stick with you because I believe in this vision of this church. And we went from there. Now, I didn't realize that it was going to cost me everything, that it was going to literally, I mean, I kind of realized it. I mean, I met with my mom about it, and she said she was really afraid what the church was going to do and how the church was going to react. And they did react bad. I mean, Cornerstone canceled me, Life Fest canceled me, all these festivals just completely, that's how I made my living, was by those festivals during the summer. Every speaking engagement I got, every church it was gone, it was done. And it took me years to start getting into some of the main lines, and then all speaking engagements kind of died and went away. But it was the right thing to do. I think sometimes people question me today because my message seems so different and it's not so focused on my LGBTQ brothers and sisters, but it's definitely inclusive of that and involved with that, is because I'm talking about loving each other, having tough conversations, loving your enemy, not necessarily agreeing with your enemy, but loving your enemy. Because when I think about equality, when I think about unity, I think that requires all people to be a part of it. And I think we have to work very hard to have equality, find equality, but find it through diversity. And I think diversity through equality, or equality through diversity, is a possible thing. I mean, obviously, my heroes are Dr. King, Bayard Rustin, Harvey Milk, John Hume, the great peacemaker in Northern Ireland, Jesus, Tammy Faye, the Apostle Paul. And I feel like what I'm doing here is a little bit of Apostle Paul. I don't mean to brag, I don't mean to say where I've been, but I feel like I need to. You know, I feel like this is such a huge part of what Revolution does and why we're in the place we're in now. And because we continue to try to preach equality and love and grace, and it's not an easy thing to do. So I would definitely ask, if these are things that interest you, to check out Revolution. If you're part of Revolution, help support Revolution. If this inspires you, Revolution really could use your financial support, because I'm not making it right now. Revolution's not making it really very well right now. We're way below budget. But I promise to continue to try to be one step ahead and showing equality and love and grace to all people. You know, years into my work, a lot of people said, Jay, it's time to let us speak. It's time to let folks from the LGBTQ community speak. And I agreed. And I said, of course, you know, but I'm here if you need me. And I always want to be that with folks. You know, I don't want to overstep my boundaries, but I always want to let people know I'm there for them, and I will continue to fight for equality and community for all people, because that's the only way we're going to change this crazy world. Thanks.